Okay, 7th grade, you have made it to the end of chapter 6, one more chapter down in this school year. This lesson is probably the easiest one in the chapter because of all the hard work you've put in lessons 1 through 7. So you probably don't need this lesson, but we do it anyways just to make sure you know what's going on. I'll make it quick, I promise. Let's get started. Solving two-step inequalities. Two-step. You've already solved two-step equations. You've already solved one-step inequalities. Now we're kind of just putting those skills all together. So our notes. The 3 S's of solving equations and inequalities are simplify, separate, solve. So we're going to stick with these same 3 steps. You know what operations we can use during each step. We'll talk about this really quickly. During the simplify step, we are just looking for parentheses and we are looking for like terms. And if we see any of those, then we have to get rid of them, right? So look for parentheses, look for like terms. During the separate step, this is when we get the constant terms on one side, the variable terms on the other side. So we're using addition, subtraction only at this time. And solving is when we've got one of those tiny little baby equations, and this is when we need to just isolate the variable. So we're going to be using multiplication or division only in this last step. So I've got 2 practice problems for you, or 2 example problems, very easy example problems, but let's take a look. Our first one is 44 is less than or equal to negative 9m plus 8. So, first S is to simplify. So over here, do we see parentheses or like terms? Nope. How about over here? Parentheses, like terms? Nope. So our simplify step is finished. Now we need to choose a variable side and a constant side, and we need to start separating. So on the variable side, which term does not belong? It's the plus 8. So to get rid of that plus 8, we are going to subtract 8, and we balance that out on the constant side as well. 44 minus 8 is 36. Bring everything down. So bring your less than or equal to sign down, bring down your negative 9m. Now we are fully separated, so we have to solve, which means we need to divide both sides by negative 9. And yep, we are dividing by a negative, so that means we need to flip our inequality sign. So less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. These negative 9's cancel out. We're left with an m on the variable side. 36 divided by negative 9 is negative 4. And we have our solution, but our m is on the wrong side. So we need to do our high-tech flip the variable, flip the constant, flip the inequality sign. So greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to once again. So there is our inequality. We are going to graph it. We'll put negative 5 here, negative 4, negative 3, and we're going to put a closed circle over the negative 4. And we're going to shade to the left because less than goes to the left. Don't forget to shade your arrow. Number 2, this one has a fraction. They tend to freak us out, but they're very easy problems. Don't stress out about a fraction problem. Let's do our simplify step first. Do you see like terms? Nope. Do you see parentheses? Nope. Let's move to the other side. Do you see like terms? No. Parentheses? No. So now we can move to our separate step. Variable side, constant side. Which term does not belong on the variable side? It's the minus 4. The inverse of minus is plus, so we're going to add 4. And we're going to balance that out on the constant side as well. We're going to add 4. And we end up with 4/5 b on the variable side. Bring down your less than sign. Negative 16 plus 4. Don't forget to make your 0 pairs. We get negative 12. Now we are separated, so that's one term on the variable side, one term on the constant side. So now we get to move to our solve step. To do the solve step, we are going to divide both sides by 4/5 to get our b isolated. Now you'll take notice that I left the gap under the 12 so I can put my 1. Now, Before I do my division, I'm going to set myself up here. Bring down the B, bring down the less than sign, and I'm going to say this is a negative, this is a positive. So a negative divided by a positive gets me a negative. Now what I can do, guys and gals, I can forget about that negative sign. I can pretend it's not even there, and I can just do my complex fraction. 12 times 5 is 60. That goes in the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. That goes in the denominator. 60 divided by 4 is 15. So I'm left with b is less than negative 15 for my solution. So we can graph that negative 16, negative 15, negative 14 on the number line, open circle around negative 15, and the arrow points to the left. So I'm going to shade to the left on my number line. Don't forget to shade the arrow as well. Okay, so you knew all these skills coming into this. We're just putting it together, making sure we understand that we can solve more complex inequalities just like we solved more complex equations. You have a couple practice problems. I would like you to go ahead and do them. We are officially finished with the chapter, so make sure you ask any questions tomorrow in class so that we can talk about this more thoroughly.